Hi, everybody. Thanks for joining us today. This is the Politically Incorrect Knitters channel, and I am Deplorable Knitter. I am joined by the lovely Anne Pinkova.
Hello.
Say hi, Anne.
Hi.
And today we're going to be joined by Tina from Awenydd Yarn and Fibers, and that's super exciting. She's going to talk about her yarn and social justice warriors and living in New York during COVID. So fun stuff.
Woo! Hello, ladies. How are you?
Hi, doing good.
Good. How are you?
Doing good. I'm a little tired. I tend to be kind of nocturnal these days, so I'm like already on my second cup of coffee, and I have backup coffee. So.
Yeah, Anne is not as a morning person as I am either. Otherwise, we'd be doing these at like the crack of dawn. But she's got a separate schedule, like a totally different schedule than I do.
Mm-hmm.
But she's also hours behind us, right? Are you like 2 hours behind us, or
Only one.
only one? Okay. Still.
Yeah, that's why we do it at 11, because it's not too early for her. Like it's a reasonable time to.
It's civilized.
Get up and get going.
Try to be, anyways.
So I wanted to say I've been watching all your episodes and I love them, but I suck about leaving comments because I watch it on my TV. So I'm like, I watch it on the TV and I'm like, all right, now I'm gonna go on my tablet or I'm gonna go on my phone and then I get distracted, and then it's like 3 days later and I'm like, oh, I meant to do that thing, and then I'm like distracted again.
Which is okay.
Yeah.
I'm like that too. I have the best of intentions and then I wander away, and that's the end of anything I thought. So.
But I love them. The Cedar Hill Yarns episode. I actually immediately went and I bought the new V-neck T-shirt pattern that she has, and
nice.
I'm super excited because I have. So being a dyer, sometimes I screw up skeins, and then I wind up with like these orphan skeins of yarn that are like misfits. Right. And there's 4 skeins of I think it's All America First, actually, like this one colorway that for some reason I kept getting freckles in weird places. I'm starting to think it's because like dye was dripping off of the ties, so you'd get like blue speckles on the red or vice versa.
Yeah.
So I'd look at them and I'd go, oh God, I gotta redo this one. So I would just like toss it in a pile. So now I have 4 beautiful skeins of America First, and I'm like, I'm gonna have a patriotic T-shirt.
Yep.
I'm excited
awesome.
about that.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I'm really, but I mean, so many things on the needles right now. I have total crafting ADD. I really admire being able to stick to a project. Like I love seeing your progress every week with the, the intarsia and the beautiful images that you're doing, and I'm like just floored. It's absolutely gorgeous. I mean, I cannot wait to see that quote when it's done.
So
Anne
are we.
has a lot less crafting ADD than I do, though. Like she gets her stuff done. I'm still at the exact same spot I was last week on the Votes for Women one, because I made a mistake and I just need to sit down for like 15 minutes and fix it, but it seems daunting at the moment. So I'll get in the mood and I'll like shoo my kids away to go like, oh, go play a video game, and then I'll fix it. I just have to get to that point.
Yeah. But no, sometimes that 15 minutes can seem like the worst thing ever. It's like doom and gloom and there's thunderclouds and it's like, oh God, this is so scary. I can't do that.
Right. It's just taking the time. And for me, a lot of it is like getting people to leave me alone for that amount of time. Like, I just need like, go find something to do. Oh, you want candy? Like go over there and do it. And I will work on what I got to do.
Guess what, kids? Rules don't matter. Just do whatever you like. Just go away.
Yeah. Rules don't matter. Seriously. Like sometimes when I'm working, if you're not on fire, and if you're not bleeding, then you're okay and you can figure it out. Because there's a lot of like that, oh, they took this away from me, and
walk it off.
Figure it out. Yeah, walk it off. Put some dirt on it. You're fine.
Oh gosh. So are you guys currently knitting anything at the moment? I'm currently like literally as we speak, I'm knitting.
Well, I have my project next to me. I'm not knitting because I've discovered that color work and I have trouble talking. I can't talk and do color work. And all my stuff is color work, so.
a complicated relationship.
It is. It's hard.
See, I had company this past week, so I'm like desperately trying to knit away, and I did get a square. I did get come and take it, except it rolled in on itself. I should have.
That's
Hang on.
fantastic. Oh my gosh, it's a cannon. Oh my god, I love it.
It says come and take it.
It's nice.
And
that's amazing.
Yeah. So I'm
I love
excited.
it. Hold it up again and talk though.
Oh, sorry, I forgot because I had it in my mouth.
Yeah.
It's like, there we go. Still talking.
High fiber diet.
Still talking. It's still not working. There we go.
There we
Almost.
go.
Yeah,
No,
I
that
know.
looks fantastic.
Sorry, I should have ironed it first, and it is the yarn. I think I said I spun this myself. It's very fuzzy, so that wasn't fun. But anyways, I should have done better. But yes, come and take it. It's done. I was told that the cannon looks a little Looney Tunes, but that's okay. That's
Nothing wrong with
Well,
Looney
that's how the
Tunes.
picture is.
it is exactly.
I mean,
like
if you look at the picture, it's very like that. So
right, and
whatever.
I have here.
I think it's obvious it's a cannon.
I think it's so too, but I have like a little square, so it looks like the square. What else can
Gotcha.
you do?
yeah, hold it a little closer again.
Oh, sorry, of course. Anyways, it looks like the
Very
square.
cool.
Yeah,
So
nice.
there we go.
Do you use like a computer pattern to chart it out, or do you just like use graph paper?
That particular one, I just used graph paper because it didn't have bits and pieces everywhere. And I'm like, okay, I can rough draft a cannon. And Star took me like 3 times, but you know.
Anne is a show off. She does it all by hand. She's all fancy dancy. I use a computer program. I don't have time for that like hand drawing.
Well, I had to use a computer program that I'm doing Hong Kong next. So
Oh, that's gorgeous.
yeah, well, it's not, this is just bare pixelization. I haven't gone back. I haven't done anything because, as you can see, some of the points are uneven and the stars aren't stars. So I'll have to redo them so that they are stars, but I have at least the silhouette. You know what it is. So we have progress.
I'm calling it the happy. This is the Happy Cables hat. It's got 2 different kinds of cables. And it comes in sizes for the whole family. And stretchy, like this is a kid size, but it almost fits me. I need a little bit more length, but it's super stretchy, so it's pretty cool.
It's pretty cool.
And this one was actually designed by my mom. So it's going under Deplorable Knitter, but if you look at the pattern, it says it's by Deplorable Knitter's mom, so fun stuff.
It's really cute.
Thank you. Oh, I think she's fabulous. Very cool.
Meanwhile, I'm sitting here like, I could knit 2x2 ribbing.
What's it gonna be? Is it that sweater or is it something else?
It's another version of the tank top I'm wearing, the light bright tank top. Yeah, it's so easy and fun to knit, and I have all this yarn. I'm just like, well, it's weird because I'm so anti-authority to the point where for the last few years reading a pattern has been like, don't tell me what to do.
Right.
I'm not even gonna knit a pattern because that's just like too much. Like, you're gonna tell me this, that, and the other thing, and like normally I'm just kind of like, okay, well, I have a general idea of what I want to do, and it's going to be super simple and basic, and then I'll just do it, and I won't even write it down. And it's just like, I can't, it's like too much authority for me. I don't know what it is. So I'm working on getting back into accepting pattern authority into my life.
Right.
There's a knit along coming up soon for this hat that Liz Clothier came up with called the Blocked Hat. You know, in honor of all of us who have been blocked by everybody ever because we're non-persons.
Right.
So the hat is knit in, oh, I didn't bring the skein over. It's knit in DK weight. So I don't know if you guys, do you guys watch the Unsafe Space podcast?
We do.
I
Are
Sometimes.
you guys in the Telegram chat?
Not
No.
in the Telegram chat, unfortunately. But it's one of those things where I enjoy their podcast, but there's a lot of them and they're very long, so it's hard for me to catch up. You're like, I want to, but yeah.
I'm really excited. They're doing a deprogrammed episode on Thursday with James Lindsay, who's like the Pope of wokeness.
Okay.
He has gone through all of their literature with a fine-tooth comb. He has deconstructed it. He knows their literature better than they do. It's the most amazing thing. And he's so anti-woke. Like, he's my biggest Twitter crush. I cannot wait for the show. And it's just because he's so smart. He's just like so freaking brilliant. And he you know, like, I feel some of this stuff when we're dealing with the woke people, it's really easy to get confused by their terms and their jargon, and you kind of want to rebut them on their own level with their own language, but then you don't really know what they're saying, so you don't really know how to respond. But
Right.
he comes at it from not only the level in which he can fight them on their own terms, but also just a broader picture, like, just flat out reject it. No, it's wrong. You don't even have to engage and try to argue with them. You can just say no. Just say no to woke. No, I will not read White Fragility. No, I will not read White Supremacy in Me. I will not read any of these books. Not
Right.
with Green Eggs and Ham. I will not read these books. Sam, I am. The end. It's like, but he's got a really great sense of humor about it too. You know, sometimes, as you might imagine on social media, people don't take kindly to people who are non-woke, so they will jab at
Really?
them.
Would you believe it?
Never noticed. Have you, Anne?
Oh no, it's crazy.
He always fights back with humor. It's amazing. Like, so I'm really excited about that. But yeah, it's kind of crazy what's going on in the knitting world. Have you guys heard of this Empowered movement that they're doing now with the purple bandanas?
No.
No.
How did we miss something?
Well, probably because you've been blocked by everybody.
There is that. I try to stay up to date, but it's really hard when, like, you can only see like a slide from one person, and every link you click that they reference is just like blank. It's like, oh well, never mind. I didn't really care anyway.
So I did a little research on it. It doesn't. I mean, I'm not blocked by any of the founders or contributors to this project, which I was really surprised by. So I guess they're not using that blockchain app or whatever.
Okay.
But somebody brought it to my attention a few weeks ago. Apparently, the whole point is that you're supposed to knit, crochet, or sew a purple bandana, and then, of course, on their website they have their their graphics, and it's like, wear it while you speak out against injustice, wear it while you march, wear it while you do this and that and the other thing. And I'm like, wow, a virtue signal that you don't even have to open your mouth for. You can just be like, yeah.
You mean
bandana, I'm virtuous.
literally like Mao's Red Army armbands? And
Yeah.
literally that is exactly what happened.
Yeah.
You know, like, so many people died. It was so bad. Why do this again?
Well, that
So
wasn't
much
real
death.
communism. That wasn't real communism. It's
I
never really been tried before, you know.
I literally, so there's this one woman who I follow who it's a different crafting subject, which is her main thing, but she's very liberal and very political. And she said in the end, like, oh, but I'm a political science major too. And after all, and you know, like I'm waiting for it. And then she's like, and the communism in Russia wasn't real. It was really fascist, whatever. I'm like, you said the thing. I was waiting for it. You said it. And it was like, you want to be like, oh, and then you knew that if you were in the room and which, like, you said the thing, she'd be like, what are you talking about? I'm like, no, you literally, that's what everybody says every single time, that it wasn't real communism. And she'd be like, what's your deal?
Bingo! I got bingo.
Right? I got bingo. You just fell right into it. And then be like, why are you here?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
And also, there's several different people where they'll be like, you know, you evil Trump-loving fascist pigs, and then we should all come together in unity. And it's like, but it's like, we can still be friends. For me, you're liberal, I'm conservative. let's be pals. And then you're the scum of the earth, but we should all be friends. And I'm like, we can be friends. There's no,
Yeah.
the idea
Yeah.
of you people over there are absolutely evil, but you know, if you were a right thinker, we could be friends. I'm like, that's not how it works.
Yeah. Well, it's funny that you mentioned that because, so, you know, naturally I wanted to know who these people are and like maybe what their backgrounds are. And
Right.
I'm trying to like decode stuff on their website because, you know, they, of course, they have something up about we want to help keep marginalized communities safe from the police, which is, of course, code for defund the police. I think we all know that by now. A dog whistle, as they might say, on their side of the fence.
Speaking, sorry, not to interrupt you, but I saw, I believe it was a Breitbart article saying that there are certain people in New York City specifically saying, hey, we want you to reinstate this police group because we're getting killed out here. Yeah.
I've been following a Twitter account lately that it reports crime in real time. Mm-hmm. And there's at least like 15 people getting shot every day now. Just like,
wow.
Yeah. And so how are those gun laws working out? You know, it's like, wow, it's like impossible to get a gun. So where are all these guns coming from? We can't have guns. Don't these people know it's like a gun-free zone?
Yeah.
I guess it's almost like they're not following laws or something. It's like we have criminals. So weird. I don't understand. And then you have the brilliant AOC just telling you, well, you know, people are they're just hungry. They're just like trying to get food for their families. So, okay, so the 1-year-old baby who got shot in the stomach, you know, he was holding bread that could have fed somebody's family. Okay. And then you have our brilliant governor who's like, well, you know, people are just bored and unemployed. Really? I have been bored and unemployed.
Really, that's an excuse that he put out there?
Yeah.
I didn't hear that one.
Yeah,
that man
that's pretty new.
Infuriates me.
Yeah, but yeah, I've been bored and unemployed, and I can say with 100% confidence I've never had the urge to go shoot somebody when I was bored and unemployed, or when I was hungry. All these things have happened to me, and I have managed to go through my life without procuring a firearm and shooting somebody. So I don't know who these intellectual giants are that are running our great state and country and city, but
well,
all the rioters are just Jean Valjean.
But seriously, you've got the people who got out there with guns that shouldn't have them, whatever. That couple that was defending their home got their guns confiscated for going out and telling the people to get away from their house who threatened to kill them and burn it down and stuff.
What were they charged with?
I'm not entirely certain, but they had a warrant. They confiscated their guns.
I'm not sure, but minor petty point. But the prosecutor who charged them was wearing a pink fluffy sweater like she's Dolores Umbridge. I'm like, this is the lowest level that we have got to. Umbridge is prosecuting people for defending their house, and I believe her proper name is Kimberly Scott. Definitely Kimberly. I'm sorry if I don't remember correctly, but yes,
Anne's not great with names.
I am. I'm
not either.
It's garbage. But anyways, like this is the level. This is where we're at now.
It's unbelievable. Everything is backwards. It's like, so we have all this increased crime happening in the city. I haven't been in Manhattan for a while before this past Saturday, and I went to go visit a friend, and this whole part of Greenwich Village on Broadway, where usually it's really hustling and bustling. You have a whole bunch of restaurants, you've got banks, you've got stores, you've got like, you know, the Gap, you've got whatever. Everything is boarded up and spray painted. And I didn't see it until I was on the way back. Also, like, the sidewalks are like pretty much deserted. I mean, every now and then you see a restaurant with like people having outdoor seating and everybody just looks weird and awkward. And I'm like, God, I can't wait until this is over. Right. But on the way back,
that indoor seating that is totally banned.
Yeah, zotched, totally zotched. On the way back, I was walking back to the subway and I see on this plywood, I guess the owners of the store had spray painted this on the plywood. It said working towards a better future. And I thought, this is how you work towards a better future? Really? Like, do you see the irony of your own words that you've just painted on this plywood on your boarded up store? in the middle of a once beautiful city. But no, let's not do anything about that or the rising crime. No, what we should really be focusing on is the fact that the Black Lives Matter mural was defaced, and we have to fix it immediately.
Oh.
I don't know if you guys saw that. Somebody vandalized it with red paint, and immediately de Blasio was on the scene like, we have to fix this mural. We will not be stopped. This mural is like all important. This is like his shrine. It's like his greatest achievement ever is painting Black Lives Matter in the middle of Fifth Avenue. Like,
well, I think that it's his crowning glory because it's in front of Trump Tower too, right? Because it's the ultimate blow to President Trump. So there you go.
Trump will never recover from this, I'm sure.
I have a question for you though. You're in New York City. So have you started seeing, like, I live geographically near you, not in the city though. And
amazing that yarn hasn't gotten there yet.
I know. She shipped me yarn 3 weeks ago and it is still somewhere. Although the people at my post office are fabulous, so they've been emailing the place that says it has the yarn to see if they can track it down. So hopefully I will get my hands on it at some point. But just this past weekend, like, we had stores absolutely turning people away for not wearing masks. Like, people were saying, oh, you know, I am disabled, I have a reason I can't wear it, and they were like, too bad, go away. And the woman was trying to tell the guy, you have to have a card. And he's like, you can't ask me what's wrong with me. It violates HIPAA. And so that's been happening. And also stores in my area are saying that they don't have any coins and they're refusing cash payments. Is that happening in New York City, or is that just...
Well, we've had a mask mandate for a while. What was really funny is that the same day the Surgeon General came out and said, don't wear masks, it was mandated that you had to wear a mask on the subway. So that was pretty not awesome. But it's just been like for a while now, like my grocery store for months is you can't go in without a mask. And they have this big elaborate picture on the front with, you know, you could have this mask, you could have this mask, you could have a freaking balaclava on, like they don't care. Like, you could have like a ski mask on, just like, well, I guess a ski mask wouldn't help much because it doesn't cover anything, but you know, just come in with something on your face. And now just recently the post office has decided this is a thing. I haven't seen anything about no cash. I mean, like, I generally don't get out much lately, so if I do use cash, it's usually at like 7-Eleven or maybe like the drugstore, but a lot of the places around here have self-checkout now as far as the drugstores go. And whenever I buy groceries, it's always by card, so I haven't seen anything in my area about no cash. But we also have like a lot of like bodegas and like really low-level dollar stores and stuff. I'm sure they're not getting rid of cash anytime soon, but I guess that's from the paranoia of the virus spreading or something.
Well, they're saying it's a shortage, a coin shortage.
What?
Which doesn't make any sense. Wow. We still have all of our coins. They're not disappearing with the virus. They don't dissolve with COVID. There's no...
Are you sure about that?
I don't know.
What's your evidence?
Pretty caustic.
But that's not enough. I need studies.
But, you know, the thought is here, I mean, it's just happened in the past like 2 or 3 days, and I've been flipping out about it with everybody. I called Anne yesterday and asked her what was going on in South Dakota.
Well, in the free state of South Dakota, where you can still walk into stores without masks, it is allowed. It is crazy. I don't know how we're making it, but we are.
Wait, you're not dead yet?
No, we're not dead yet. It's amazing. Sure? I worked through this entire pandemic. I checked this morning, still not dead. It's really hard, but we really can make it. Not that there haven't been deaths in South Dakota, but I believe the number is still under 100 of people who have died. Cases have naturally gone up, but deaths have not gone up. It's still a low-level thing. We really are okay. It's all right. Most stores, they'll have a sign saying that mask wearing is encouraged, and we still have the dumb city. Where I am, they repassed the city ordinance that all employees of the store still have to wear a mask, and that's like until August, which stinks. Basically, yeah. I'm very not for that. Mostly because I have to be the one who wears a mask, and like, I would say depending on the store and depending on the day, at least 2/3 of people who walk in are not wearing masks. If I'm at Walmart on a Friday afternoon, I'd say about 1/6 of people are wearing masks, not including the store employees who have to because of the ordinance. And again, we are still okay. And the only place saying the cash thing that you mentioned, I noticed a sign up in Lowe's that there was in the, if you don't have Lowe's, it's like a hardware store sort of a thing, that it's a pretty national chain. So I think it was more like a national chain mandate and not a South Dakota mandate.
Yeah.
So it's, it's,
But
we're still okay. We
I just don't know what I hate being the weird paranoid person, but it kind of seems to me like they're trying to figure out where everybody's going and what they're spending their money on, and they want I can't imagine that there's really a coin shortage. Where did it go? Is it because people aren't out spending money? Is it because people have been using their cards the whole time and so that it's just not in circulation as much? I mean, maybe, but weird.
The only thing, well, I've heard speculated, this isn't a solid thing, this is, whatever, that people may be hoarding coins because if you're afraid of inflation in the future, a coin still holds its value more than paper that no longer has anything to back it. So there's that. But have you heard of friends and family saying, hey, save nickels before 1975? Or I think there's some sort of a line of when there was when it was a more solid metal content than it is currently. But
yeah.
One of my ex-boss actually, I think he'd put up something recently. He kind of tends to border on conspiracy theories a little bit, but he had put up something recently about the whole cashless thing, that the city was kind of veering towards a cashless direction. And I saw this and I was like, what the heck is he talking about? And then somebody posted in the articles, they're actually passing legislation to make it illegal to have a cashless store. Like they have to accept cash. So I didn't really follow up on that. I don't know where it's going, but apparently this is becoming a thing that people don't really want to use cash, I guess. And I do remember that very briefly when I was still working in Greenwich Village as a dog walker, this pasta flyer restaurant showed up. It was supposed to be like, their gimmick was really fast and cheap pasta or something. In like 15 seconds, you could have a bowl of pasta. I don't know how that worked. But they had a sign on the door saying that they were a cashless store. And I was like, that's really annoying. Like, what if you only have cash, or what if your card is frozen, or like, it just seems so weird to me. And I guess their whole gimmick was just like speed, because I guess cards are faster, and you have your pasta and you pay for it all in 30 seconds, boom, go sit down and eat. I heard their food sucked, so that's why they closed, but Well, their meatballs weren't cooked. Can you imagine? Like their meatballs were raw in the middle.
Only having food
they take more than 15 seconds. Yeah, Anna is a cook. She knows about this. Can you cook stuff in 30 seconds, Anne?
No, not even in the microwave. If you were like, microwave these noodles in 30 seconds, I'd be like, nah, not gonna.
Nah.
No, but and with the cashless society, in even the simplest non-conspiratorial terms, like have you ever been in a large grocery store, supermarket, chain, something when the internet went down?
No.
Where no one's cards work suddenly and everyone's standing in line for like an hour.
Dude, I didn't even think of that.
Right. And then all of the you have the store clerks are like, I don't know how to do this now. Like, it's okay, you can. So it's amazing. Society has survived, and we have exchanged money for goods before the internet. It happened. There was time where cards weren't even a thing. I know it's hard to believe, but really societies do run very well without it. We can do that.
Yeah. I've never been in a store and things like phone booths. Yeah. No, I actually, I think I'm older than both of you. So back in a lifetime before this one that I'm currently in, I worked at a bank. I was a teller. And so the whole mask thing, every time I go into a store and somebody has the sunglasses on and something covering their face, like my teller instincts like freak out. And I'm like, oh my God, like you'll never know who that was because their whole face is covered and it's horrible. But I've worked in the bank when it's gone down and it's just, you just stand there. There's nothing to do. You can't take cash out of people's accounts because you don't have the internet to check if they have the money, and you're just paralyzed. And so I can't imagine the whole society being like that. Like, oh, grocery store's just not happening because we don't know how to work. Yeah, no. We just don't know how to do it without it. It's terrible.
Yeah.
You know, abandon your carts and go home. Like, don't.
Guess I'm not eating today. Okay, sorry.
Yeah. And if it's a long-term thing, not the next day. I guess not.
Yeah, no. I'm not a conspiracy theorist, but honestly, this whole mask thing is really bothering me, and this whole like not paying with a card, like not paying with cash thing, it's disturbing. It seems like people they're all trying to control.
The problem is that there's like no real consensus on whether the masks work. It's like everybody's contradicting everybody. It's like, no, it doesn't work. Yes, it does work. If you don't wear it, you're in trouble. If you do wear it, you might get a lung fungus. Like, what is this lung fungus thing I'm hearing about now?
I don't know.
It's ridiculous. And what really drives me nuts. Huh?
I haven't heard of the lung fungus.
Yeah, I hope that doesn't become a thing, because I'm seeing people just wearing them on the sidewalk in like 90-degree weather. I'm like, where do you think you're going to get the virus from when you're walking on the sidewalk? Do you think it comes off the trees? Because pretty sure it doesn't. So I think you could just walk around in open air and not worry about getting the freaking virus, people. It's okay. You don't have to be that paranoid. Did I mention it's 90 degrees and like you can't breathe?
Right. And, you know, the CDC is quietly putting that masks really aren't all that effective. And, oh, wait, there's, I guess the virus doesn't hang out on surfaces as long as we thought. Guess you don't need to sanitize everything every 5 seconds. Oh, wait. Guess we were wrong about how easily spread it is between people who are non-symptomatic. That's not really a thing anymore. Sorry, guys. And you're like, kind of. And then they come out with stuff like that and it doesn't matter. And everyone's still like, but still wear your mask. I'm like, what about the scientific information? What about the CDC, who Instagram still goes back and forth between, oh, do you want to go to the CDC official page, or do you want to, and then next they'll recommend ACLU. I'm like, what is this about? Which one's more important? Tell me.
What I want to know about the whole COVID testing stuff and everything. Okay, so it's supposed to be super, super contagious, right? I have to wear a mask when I go places. I had to take my mom for a COVID test this week because she has to go get something done at a surgical center. So before she's allowed to go, she has to be tested. They shoved that thing so far up her nose, it was insane. Like, if it's that contagious, why can't they swab her mouth and get a test?
Right.
Like I just don't understand how all of this works. Like, I don't know. If it's so contagious that it's coming out of my mouth and my nose and my spit and then what's, I mean, she like was gripping the car seat because they're like digging inside of her brain to get this test. I felt so bad for her.
Yeah, but also they had tests before that you didn't have to dig around in her brains. It's amazing. They still worked. So why do this actually painful one?
Yeah. Also, I'm hearing that I'm seeing all over the place from different Twitter accounts. People are hearing from people who went to go get tested, so the line was too long and was like, screw it, I'll come back tomorrow. Like, here's my phone number. Just call me. They get the phone call and they tell them you tested positive, and they're like, I didn't take the test. I don't know if you guys saw what just happened in Florida.
That's what I was just going to say. I was just going to say that. I saw it on the news this morning.
Yeah, they had an allegedly 98% positive rate, and it turns out it was actually 9.8.
A little bit of a discrepancy.
Just a little tiny,
And those labs weren't like reporting any negatives. They were just reporting that everything was coming through positive. Like, I don't understand how that was happening.
Yes. News comes out. Florida, COVID rate spikes. Oh, Well, guys,
Well, actually, about that spike. But it's funny because I'm starting to wonder, do they get money for every positive COVID thing? Like, there's got to be like some kind of financial incentive or something somewhere for them to say everything is positive.
I don't
why
know.
would you do it otherwise? Either that or it's a whole bunch of faulty tests. I mean, that's the only other thing I can think of. Which apparently there's another thing. So apparently a common cold will show up as COVID on certain tests.
right.
Nice.
Yeah, really nice. We got this down pat, guys. The rest of the world should totally be following us. We are the leaders.
But America is testing highest, and that is because of evil people who won't wear their masks.
Right.
If you were in lockstep, then you'd know.
You're a sheep like everyone else. I'm not even gonna lie though, I wear my mask when I go out. It's just, it doesn't bother me to wear it. I don't do enough going out to like be concerned. I'm not like Anne where I have to work and wear it all day, thank God. But
It's miserable.
I'm sure. I can't even imagine.
Well, and
But I don't know.
I was talking to one of my relatives actually, and she is in the high risk zone for all of this. And even she was saying, okay, so trying to go to work and half of us are telecommuting and half of us aren't, but we're incredibly busy right now and we're short staffed. And are we wearing the mask? No, it prevents us from doing our job. We cannot communicate easily. I cannot see what the other person is saying. It's hot, it's sweaty. It's July.
Yeah.
Even she was like, I'm trying to remember now. Mike Rowe's thing about safety third.
I love him. I love that. Yeah.
I do love some Mike Rowe. He's his thing of, in the end, you have to. It's the compensation of risk. How much risk is worth it? All these COVID tests, vast majority of people recover. And to have this sort of, nothing is more important than your life. But there's life and livelihood, and they are very strongly connected. That I need to go out and I need to accomplish the job. The job needs to get done. That people expect you to not do your job because of COVID, and then it's not the Spanish flu. It really isn't. Sorry to skip, but it's not.
But also, I think a lot of things that people are forgetting is that the death rate was vastly skewed by, number one, the fearless leader of my state, Nanny Nipple Rings, with his nursing home debacle. Have you seen the picture of him where it looks like he's got nipple rings? You cannot tell me that man doesn't have nipple rings.
I have. I actually was sending that to my family.
Yeah. Well, my best friend's looking at it and she goes, well, maybe it's a microphone. 2 microphones, 1 on each nipple? Really? Like, are you kidding?
I never heard of putting them there either.
It's just so bizarre. So
oh my God.
we've like totally skewed the death rate because you killed grandma and you killed grandpa and you killed like everybody in nursing homes. Like this is not rocket science. But he also, I don't know if you guys thought about this. This is so, just when you think that New York politicians cannot get any more bizarre or inept or incompetent or just flat out bizarre, he just released a poster celebrating flattening the curve, which you can see Ben Shapiro did a piece on it yesterday on his show. There's something called the boyfriend cliff. And then you have like Trump sitting on the moon saying it's just the flu. It's the most bizarre thing I have ever seen in my life. You guys totally have to look this up. I don't understand it.
I have not heard anything of this. I am curious and fascinated.
There's like this weird face and it's like winds of fear.
Wait, winds or wings?
Winds.
Winds of fear.
Yeah.
Okay.
So So, Anne, not every state is lucky enough to have Christy Nome. Is that her name?
Yeah, is
Yeah,
her
yeah.
name.
Some of us get I don't know what you call them,
Winds of
nipple rings
fear.
or whatever.
Maybe nipple rings.
Oh my gosh.
Well, I was thinking of Wings of Fear, and I'll send you the picture later so you can see. I was looking. It was Bon Appetit, who you think it's about food. It's about fancy food. This is what it should be. And flipping through, and it was straight up a communist propaganda poster. It is sort of this dead-eyed woman, and she's holding a torch, and she has these very UN-looking wings, and there's an earth in the background, and it says, "Stay home, stay strong, stay safe," around this earth, like it's a UN flag. And I'm looking at this, and I'm like, this is unironically put in a magazine, and it is advocacy.org, and it's put out by the U.S. Ad Council. I'm like, what sort of dystopian world do I live in all of a sudden? This is,
God.
like, look, it is straight up Russian propaganda art. And I'm looking at this, and then I looked up advocacy.org, and it's all very, like one of the tabs was the contest that they did for the possible reimagining of the American flag. I'm like, okay, so you have all these artists. You're like, what would the American flag be like if you wanted it to be? Like, sure. So, and it was a lot, all the social justice stuff that you would imagine it to be. It's very, like there's a couple of okay ideas, not awesome, kind of based on the EU flag, but.
Oh God.
I'm like, oh, this is, that's if it's the ad council, that means it's my taxpayer dollars. So my taxpayer, among all of the stupid things that the taxpayer money goes to, apparently I am also paying for propaganda art, literal propaganda art.
Yeah. Oh God, that's just terrible. Speaking, I meant to say this before. So speaking of the social justice warriors. So back to that stupid purple bandana thing.
Yes.
The which I don't think anybody's promoting it, honestly. So it's not.
I'm sure something like it will come down the pike in a mainstream way, but please no.
One of the contributors had on one of her posts. She told people to unfollow influencers who don't seem genuinely committed to anti-racism, and then this was followed by love one another. I'm like, okay, so love everybody except people who aren't woke? Like, genuinely anti-racist. I mean, anti-racist is not racist now, like by definition. Anti-racist means that you have to start with the conclusion that everything is racist and then find things that are racist and get rid of them. So like the Jimmy Beans bag, for example, the Namaste bag, like that was causing harm. That's offensive to people because it's cultural appropriation. People felt marginalized by it. I don't know. How do you feel marginalized by a bag called Namaste? I don't get it.
I don't know.
Like, because words can actually hurt you now. That whole words will never hurt me thing isn't true. People have to have their security blanket and their crying space.
And not words will hurt you.
Yes, silence is violence, but words are also violence.
Mm-hmm.
And your opinion that doesn't agree with mine is also violence towards me. So
mostly
pretty
that.
Much you can't go anywhere. You're trapped.
You disagree with me, so I'm marginalized and oppressed. Stop oppressing me.
Obviously.
Yeah, well, I must be pretty thick-skinned because there's definitely some really bad words out there that I think we've all seen directed at me lately. Yeah.
Well, good for you, though. Out there doing your thing, making people mad.
But
if you're
making people mad for the sake of it is a thing.
Yeah.
Well, it's funny because it's like just mean word salad, and it's like there's certain boxes you can just check in every one where it's like, Oh, I got called a racist again. Oh, I'm a bigot again. Yep. Transphobe, homophobe. Like,
Yeah, it's like a bingo card. I wonder how many of us can check off all of the stuff. Like, I think we've all been called all those. Maybe not Anne yet. She's working on it though.
I am. My bingo card is way down. I'm like, gotta get the points.
if I was really like any of those things, I would have a really hard time living in New York City. I mean, New York City is basically like a microcosm of the world. If I was a racist, this would be the worst place in the world to live. If I was any kind of like fascist, Nazi, god-awful, pearl-clutching, like, this would be like the worst place in the world. I wouldn't survive 5 minutes here. I mean, I lived in Harlem for 7 freaking years. You know how many white people there were in Harlem when I lived up there? There was approximately 1, and it was me. So if I was a racist or a white supremacist, I would have had a really, really bad time. Like a really bad time. I would not have come to New York City. So
Yeah,
these
but
people,
Anne and I have talked about it before. If you really are a white supremacist, you usually tell people you're a white supremacist. There's not a lot of like, exactly. But they use these things that you can't fight against. That's why they say it, because you can't prove that you're not. There's no way to say I'm. You know, then they're like, oh, you're just gaslighting, or you're whatever the term of the day is. I don't know.
Right, and also you have the White Fragility book, which I haven't sat down and read a few excerpts. Like, this is the most vile, racist bestseller since Mein Kampf. Like, there's no, like, this, if you believe what is said in White Fragility, that is incredibly racist stuff.
well, it's also a Kafka trap. If you deny being racist, it's proof that you're racist. There's no way out of it.
Right. Well, they've got you in a trap now because there's no way to show that you're not. They've called you that, and now you are, and there's nothing you can do to change that or fix it or prove otherwise.
Right.
I've been thinking about, you know, the next time somebody calls me something, if I just fire back like, you're a racist, but then they would probably say something like, well, yes, I am racist, but I'm trying to do better. So it would probably go fire.
No, they'd straight up deny it. They'd be like, no, you're a racist. There's no...
I know you are, but what am
no
I?
admittance. It's just going to be fight, rah, rah, rah. No, you're the real racist, back at you. Nonsense.
Yeah, I don't understand, like, how brainwashed you have to be to just think that not only this is acceptable, that, like how do these people go to bed at night and feel good about themselves? Like, yeah, I owned some conservatives today. I called a bunch of people racists and bigots, and I put them in their place. I won on the internet. Yes. It's like, is that how they live their lives? I don't. Like, I did the work. I'm a social justice warrior. I called that woman a transphobe. I win. I am a better person. I don't think that's how it works, little buddy.
I don't know.
So I have read some comments that they would that you have people on the liberal side who would reflexively say the same thing about people like us. Like, oh, do you go to bed thinking happy thoughts? Like, yeah,
I do.
I do
actually. But I know, Tina, you got to get going in a minute. So want to tell us about the fundraising you're doing with the Bitchy Knitter and her Twitter? What are you donating to?
Speaking of social justice warriors.
Exactly. Tell our friends about what you're doing, please.
Okay, so I'll tell you, I have a couple of yarns with me to show off too for
yes.
You know. So there's, for anybody who doesn't know, there's an entity called the Bitchy Knitter. And of course she's anonymous because she's a troll and a coward and a bully. And she, for some reason, decided sometime around mid-June that she did not like the Fed Up Fiber Artist t-shirts I was designing. Okay, so you don't have to buy them. Nobody said you had to buy them. She didn't like my yarns either. So what does she do? I wasn't even on Twitter at the time, by the way. Somebody had to tell me that she had tweeted about me. She found my Instagram, started making fun of me. And so then I get on Twitter and I'm like, hey, I'd really appreciate it going forward if you could just retweet my stuff directly, because within 24 hours of being on Twitter, she had screenshotted my post about the green yarn collection, blacked out my name, and then was mocking my yarn and calling it like dog puke or something. So I'm like, I would appreciate it going forward if you just retweeted directly and left my name up, because if my work is so objectively bad, why not let everybody see how bad it is? And then you can all have a big laugh at my expense, right? And she got really mad and blocked me. So, she's
and you're like, come on, give me credit. If you're going to hate me, get my name right.
Exactly. So I've just, been looking at her tweets, and she will not shut up about me. She wouldn't shut up about Dr. Carlin. Like, she just loves to talk shit about people. Like, this is just what she does. This is her sole existence in life. Let me tear people down who are doing something better and more useful than I am. So I decided at the beginning of July that for every tweet that she tweeted about either me or another knitter in the community in a disparaging fashion, I was going to donate $5 to Blexit. And if she locked her account so that nobody could see her tweets unless they were following her, that was an automatic $100. So we're actually up to 205 right now, because she did briefly lock her account because Dr. Carlin got in on the fun, and Dr. Carlin has a lot more followers than I do. So Dr. Carlin decided she was going to donate $10 to Trump every single time the bitchy knitter tweeted about her. So Dr. Carlin's up to like $80. I'm up to like 205 for Blexit. And there were like 5 days when she didn't say anything about any knitters, and I was really concerned. I thought somebody should do a wellness check. I think she's been hijacked or something. Like, it's just like the standard Trump hate and like, I hate Nazis, whatever, which is really funny because she's one of the biggest Nazis of all. You're trying to restrict people's speech. You're really good at propaganda. You want everybody to be in lockstep with you. I don't know, that kind of sounds like a Nazi to me. Also, you're following a totally racist ideology. I think it's pretty clear you're a Nazi, but, whatever. So in addition to Blexit, and that's just like for the month of July, but I'm really excited to see how much good she does. I like to think of it as upcycling, where, there's a lot of horse shit coming out of her mouth, so I turn it into fertilizer.
That's right, pay it forward.
Yes, exactly. So I just wanted to show off, this is a skein of thin blue line, and 20% of the proceeds from this yarn go to, last month it was Cops for Causes, but I think this month I'm going to split it between something in New York City, because obviously we need it right now. Apparently cutting $1 billion from the budget was not enough. The public advocate blocked it because it was not enough money being cut. And you can see how well that's working out.
Yeah.
I don't know if you just heard the sirens going by.
No, but stay safe out there.
And I also wanted to split it between that and the police officers in Atlanta who are being unfairly charged for, their situation. Yeah. So, because one of my customers is actually a wife of one of those police officers. So,
oh really?
Fortunately, I mean, I guess the silver lining in this is that he's currently home right now, so he's not in danger. But it's still really messed up.
Right.
So, I also, in honor of the Namaste debacle, I've decided I want to start reclaiming all these things that they find offensive now, because it's just getting out of control. I feel like we're at the point where it's not enough to just push back and say no. It's like you have to start reclaiming land. Right. So I had this yarn that I haven't released yet. I have a swatch of it here. It's like a blue, gray, and white. It's like an indigo background, and this isn't the greatest lighting, but it's a really calm yarn. I love it. And I was originally going to call it something else, but now I think I'm just going to call it Namaste, because it's like, screw you guys, I'm taking the yarn back.
Absolutely. And I am super excited because at some point in time, if my yarn ever comes, Tina and I are doing a collab, and I have a pattern that I'm using some of her green yarn series for, but it's been in transit for like a month now, so it's hard to say where it is or what happened, but someday there will be something going on, hopefully.
I seriously could have just walked it up there. I'd be leaving the doorstep right there. We could have shot this live, actually.
I know.
Just toast the yarn. Hey, Tina, stay for a podcast. Okay, cool.
Yeah. Have a cup of coffee, hang out.
You're probably thirsty after walking like 400 miles. Well,
Very
it was lovely
exciting
chatting
stuff.
with you ladies.
Yeah,
Thanks for coming today. It was a lot of fun.
Thank you for inviting me. We should do this again.
we should.
I
as well.
think that we
It's not
will.
recorded.
I think it'll work. What was that?
Even if it's not recorded, we should do it again.
Yeah.
Well, we'll see if we can make it work for sure.
Yeah. Alrighty. You ladies have a good day.
You too.
You
Thank
too.
you for
Thanks.
coming.
Stay safe and try to breathe in those masks. Bye.
All right, have a good day.
All right, bye.